I got new skates. So these are the Razor's Genesys LE skates. And I never thought I'd see these again. So back in the early 2000s, Razors came out with the Murda skate. The Murda was their first solely Razors developed skate. And it is a great capture of what early 2000s skate design looked like. So this skate came out right at the beginning of UFS. It is a flat bottom boot, just like a Solomon skate, which was kind of the first skate that started the UFS design. It is a flat bottom with a completely flat replaceable sole plate. The inside has a shock absorber that helps with forward lean so that you get a natural forward lean when you're skating. And it also helps with shock resistance. So when you're doing gaps, when you're coming off of grinds or airs, you get a little bit of padding in your heels. Of course, it wouldn't be a Razor skate without their patented backslide plate. This thing is got a really nice little groove. It lines up perfectly with the Featherlight 3s that come stock with it. It's a really nice little pocket groove. I think it's going to be really good for rails and coping. I'm really curious to see what it feels like on ledges. They come with Featherlight 3s with 57mm 92A wheels. These are pretty stock wheels. I think these are made at Bravo. They're maybe going to hold up. I don't know. Stock wheels typically don't hold up super great, but these look okay. One of the curious things about this skate is it has 2 rows of eyelets for lacing, which means that there's 2 completely separate laces. I don't know why there's 2 laces. That seems like something that maybe in the early 2000s was a cool thing with the days of puffy tongues and such. I would probably get rid of those extra eye holes over the years and just make a quick modification to have only 1 set of laces, but it's what we got. If you like laces, these are your skates. So inside the boot, like I said, it is a flat sole boot, which means that inside, instead of having plastic raising your heel up so that you get a forward lean, they have a shock absorber. So this is the shock absorber that comes inside the Razor's Genesys. It's a fairly thick shock absorber. It's probably like 20 mil. Might be a little bit of a forward lean, more forward lean than most people are used to. But it looks like it's going to provide a lot of padding. This is something that I'd probably look to replace with a slightly lower forward lean. I don't like leaning forward too much, and this looks like it's a lot, but we will see how they feel. My biggest concern is these liners. So this is what I think is the same liner that came on the Razor's SL Navies that I reviewed last year. And unfortunately, these did not work very well for my feet. I don't know if it's just me or if it's a common problem, but this front area where the tongue digs into your toes, super uncomfortable. I don't know why they didn't fix this. I've tried playing with the old liners to see if I could figure out a way to keep it from digging into my toes. I could never figure it out. So I ended up replacing the liners. I'll probably end up replacing the liners with these as well. If there's anything just initially that I see that's wrong with this skate, this liner is definitely going to need an upgrade. So I'm here at my local skate park in Durham, North Carolina. I'm gonna give them a quick once-over, quick ride around the park and see what they feel like. Then I'm gonna do some sole tricks and see what the sole feels like. After that, some groove tricks, see what the groove feels like and how I lock on. And then do a few tricks around the park and see how I feel. All right, so these are the size 44 skates. The box and the liner is actually labeled at 27.5 Mondo, which is 27.5 centimeters. I'm 28.5 centimeters. I think it's a mislabel. Typically the 44 size is 28.5, so it's weird that they would have 27.5 on the box as well as on the liner. I think it's a mislabel because my feet feel okay. Cramped, but not like a whole centimeter cramped. More cramped on the height. I know there's plenty of room in the boot. These boots are known for being spacious, so There's a little bit more width than most boots and a little bit more height. So if you've got big feet, these are a really great boot to try. But these stock liners aren't doing them any favors. That forward lean is a nightmare. I am just not... I mean, it's going to take a few sessions to get used to. I am not loving that forward lean. I'm used to a fairly laid back USD Carbons, USD 7, USD Gods, USD Aeon, like that maybe 10 mil of a forward lean. This being thicker is making it really dangerous. So I'm going up ramps and I know where my position is and I'm just leaning forward when I hit the air and it just feels crazy. Definitely not a fan of that. The shock absorbers are doing their job. It feels really cushiony when I land, but it's going to take a few sessions to get used to this this forward lean adjustment. The boots feel fine. Fine, supportive. The buckles are pretty cheap. They feel very flimsy, but they seem to be working okay. There is no 45-degree strap here, so I'm not getting any like foot sucking action, but it feels like my feet fit perfectly inside this shell. This shell notably is a 10-10.5 shell. So it is a unique shell size for my foot, which means there's probably the perfect amount of space in here for my foot. So definitely shows, absolutely no issues there. Just that forward lean is distracting. All right, let's try some grinds. All right, these soles feel super fast. You know, it is a fresh ledge. It rained last night, so I just cleaned it off, put wax on it, but absolutely no problems locking on, absolutely no problems sliding. It feels like I'm locking solid. Being able to roll over, squat down, yeah, absolutely no issues here. Groove tricks, here we go. All right, groove tricks are surprising. I was expecting groove tricks to feel like the Razors SL or the Kaiser Fluid 4 with the USD 7 sole plate. They are much more stand-up than I'm used to, which is interesting. If you look at the backslide plate, you can see that it is really close to the frame, which means that the angle that you have to get in order to get on frame and backslide plate is more steep than if the backslide plate were further out from the frame. I wasn't ready for that. So the first few Royales I tried definitely wasn't ready to get that low. It took me a few tries to get used to the lower Royale, and it feels really good. It did feel like I'm slipping out a little bit, but again, new skates. This is a big adjustment for me with the forward lean and with the new Royale groove. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but I bet people could make this work. I don't see why this would be a problem if you get used to it. All right, pretty good session. All things considered, I think the heel lift is the biggest concern that I have, but I think I'll get used to it. It's more than I like, so I think it just comes down to personal preference. For me, I would rather have a bit more of a lean back feel, but some people like that forward lean, and this is a really good skate for that. It's funny, on paper, this should be the perfect skate for me. It is a flat sole boot, it has an internal shock absorber, built-in UFS. The frame bolts go all the way through the frame, through the sole plates into the boots. Should be perfect, and yeah, I'm shocked how good these are. I do think I'm going to swap out the liners. They are a little cramped vertically. Like, I feel like the length is okay, but I'm getting that pinching in my toes, the top of my toes with the tongue. So I'm going to swap those out for the next session. But you know what? I think I'm going to stick with the way that they are and skate them if all I do is change the liner. These are pretty amazing skates. I really hope that Razors listens and brings them back full time. I think that these are fitting a need in the market for big-feeted people who don't have a lot of options right now. I get a lot of questions about what skates people should ride if they have big feet. These are the ones. And I hope Razors listens so that they'll keep them in stock because they're going to sell as long as they're available. I'm going to be skating these for the next month. So if you want to see my progression and what different things that I try with these skates, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell. These skates are thanks to our supporters on Patreon. I'm able to use the funds that I get from the YouTube ads and Patreon to help get the skates so that I don't have to ask companies and I can have completely unbiased reviews. Definitely, these are not provided by Razors. And I'm shocked at how good they are. But I wouldn't have known that without our supporters on Patreon. Thank you all so much. Visit patreon.com/backtoblading, or you can find a link in the description if you'd like to support. Hope you're doing great. Hope everybody's staying healthy, and I'll see you next week.